Radical.
We got Survivor Series number 37 coming up on November 25th. It's going to be at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. Now, Rosemont is about half an hour from Chicago. What's interesting about this is, recently AEW got rid of CM Punk. For a variety of reasons, Tony Khan, the guy that runs AEW, he said, scared for his life, which I think is a bit of a overstatement. There was fighting multiple times. I'm not going to tell you all about all the stuff surrounding CM Punk and AEW, but he was let go from that company. And it was a tough choice, maybe an easy choice for the head of AEW to make, but it was a tough choice initially because they wanted to hold on to CM Punk. Because CM Punk was then a very big deal. He's a hot commodity in wrestling. Some people would argue he should not be. Some people would say his best years are behind him. Some people would say he's vastly overrated. And a lot of that is legit. There's a lot of wrestlers now that are actually in far better physical condition. There's a lot of wrestlers right now in the game that are, I would say, not vastly superior to him on the mic, but when it comes to in the ring, CM Punk, he's not in the best physical shape. In fact, he got injured several times in AEW. So he's not really built, I think, to last. And the guy's in his 40s right now, and he's just not kept himself in the same kind of physical condition of someone like maybe Adam Copeland, Edge, for instance, who ironically is now in AEW to help, I guess, fill the void of that big star power, to actually excite people now that CM Punk is gone from AEW. But I'm not going to talk about AEW anymore. Focusing on the 2023 Survivor Series. Now, in the past, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, those have been giant pay-per-views where there's usually going to be a big reveal, a big angle, a big wrestler debuting to gin up interest. And right now, the biggest free agent on the market in wrestling that is not attached to any brand would be CM Punk. Now, if this were a situation to where you're bringing in possibly a guy as a free agent that is not going to cause any drama in the locker rooms, that's not going to cause any kind of ruffled feathers, then it's a no-brainer. If you're talking about a guy like maybe Daniel Bryan or something like that, yeah, you're going to bring him in because he's not going to cause a lot of problems. But sometimes you get problems when you bring in a diva type. I'll classify him as a diva type in CM Punk. For all the talent, for all the great matches, for all the mic skills, when you're bringing in CM Punk, you're bringing in everything that comes along with CM Punk. And maybe WWE doesn't want that headache. Because it's kind of a balance here. You're balancing the headache that he would bring and maybe toxicity in a locker room with what's going to be probably gigantic buzz. And it's going to also mean a ton of new merch sales. I think easily by a wide margin, CM Punk was the biggest merch seller in AEW. So there's a lot of interest around the guy. Love him or hate him, there's a lot of interest around CM Punk. And like I said, whether it's warranted right now in 2023 that he has this much interest, it's just a fact. There is. I think a lot of people just follow him because they're interested in seeing what happens next. They're interested in seeing what CM Punk does next. So it elevates past his mic and wrestling ability to, oh my God, what the heck's going to happen? Who's CM Punk going to get a fight with in the locker room right now? What's going to happen? It's going to happen. So there's a lot of interest, I think, not just because of him as a wrestler, but of everything that surrounds him. We could ask the question, and I'm going to title this, should WWE bring in CM Punk at Survivor Series? Will they or should they? And what I think number one is if they don't bring him in at Survivor Series, he's not coming. He's not. Because Survivor Series, a big pay-per-view, 30 minutes from Chicago, in Rosemont, this would be the perfect time to bring him in. So that would be the perfect place for him to come back. Doesn't matter if he comes back during an angle, beginning of the show, end of the show, it doesn't matter. It would be one of the loudest pops we have ever heard. And it would be picked up as a big return, and all the wrestling channels would be talking about it. All the wrestling outlets that report on wrestling would be talking about it. It'd be a big moment. So that's why I think they will bring him back. He wants to come back, definitely wants to come back. I'm reading he was spotted backstage a while back. He was apologizing to certain wrestlers like The Miz. This is the problem is, like I said, with everything surrounding him, is he is outspoken. Very outspoken, to the point where he ruffles so many feathers. If they brought him on, I think they will. I might be wrong. I think they will. But I think it'll be a conditional basis. I think he'll be sit down by management and told, okay, all this shit with AEW that happened, that's not going to fly here. It's going to be conditional. They'll sit him down. They'll say, we don't really need you. You need us. And I just think there'll be a conversation. It's new management. Vince is no longer in control. So I think whoever is in control right now will sit him down, bring him in, say, what we're doing here is for business, for us and you. If you start messing with people in our locker room, then it's over. Now, maybe CM Punk actually appreciates the WWE. After being with AEW, I heard it's just run like a shit show. I think he might look at it and be like, well, you know what? This is a great position for me to be in, and I'm on the main stage. Hell, some people, conspiracy theorists, are actually saying that maybe he was causing all that chaos in AEW towards the end, so they would actually release him ultimately so he could go to WWE. And if you look at the timing of everything, kind of makes a little bit of a sense. It does, because lo and behold, Survivor Series happens to be in Chicago. Well, Rosemont happens to be, my apologies, I've never been there, so geographically, I don't really know the area that well. I pulled up a Google Maps in preparation for this. That's how I know it's half an hour away from Chicago. Everything just seems to be lining up for him to make a return. Could be a coincidence. But think about it. A couple months back, he gets shit canned from AEW after basically causing a lot of ruckus, getting into an actual fight, putting somebody in a headlock for the second time he got into a fight in as many years. It makes perfect sense for him to be showing up at Survivor Series. And watching Survivor Series, there's going to be CM Punk chants all night. One final thing I'm reading here, this is just something new I'm reading. I've been reading stuff here and there, different places, in quick preparation for this. Not a lot of preparation. A lot of this is actually just going to be my personal thoughts on the matter. But I'm reading here that WWE is increasing capacity, meaning they're bringing in more chairs. They're increasing capacity for the show. Now, maybe a lot can't be read into that. Initially, you might say, okay, they're bringing in chairs and capacity because it's going to be a big moment, CM Punk showing up. Maybe there's so much hype around it. Where people think that he's going to show up. They have more demand for tickets, which is good for them anyways. But it just means if almost all the night goes by and he doesn't show up and it feels like he's not going to show up, then the crowd's probably going to turn on things like the main event. So if they want him to show up, maybe they do it like earlier in the night, something like that. What a hot open that would be to start the show off. Let's say, you start a match, maybe like a lower card match, and after the two wrestlers come out, you hear the music. He comes out and he's like, I don't mean to get in the way of this match, so I'll make this short and sweet. Chicago, I'm back, or something like that, really simple. And then maybe goes around the crowd, like shakes some hands and whatnot. And then he's like, back to your regularly scheduled program, guys. Just something simple. That would put them in a frenzy for the whole night and make for a great show crowd-wise, at least right there.